BlueStacks is undoubtedly one of the best Android emulators that you can find on Windows 11 and 10. It not only covers gaming but as a general user, if you want to enjoy Android apps on Windows PC, then BlueStacks is a great emulator at your disposal. Over the years, it has gone through many refinements, and the latest version of BlueStacks 5 is based on Android 11, which lets you run games like Call of Duty Mobile and Genshin Impact on Windows. There are also Android Nougat, Android Pie, and Android 11 versions of BlueStacks. BS5 doesn't need a graphics card as a requirement to run, and it is compatible with both AMD and Intel PCs. Thus, you can use BlueStacks to emulate Android on a low-end Windows PC as well. For gamers, BlueStacks has introduced a new BlueStacks X interface in BS5 that offers cloud gaming functionality. You can play over 2 million games using BlueStacks X, and the basic requirement is just a stable internet with a minimum speed of 5 megabits per second. BlueStacks brings several useful features like game controls, multi-instance, eco mode, performance mode, trim memory, and native support for Xbox and PS4 controllers. Simply saying, the gaming performance on BlueStacks is quite refined, and you will not feel any platform limitation while playing Android games on Windows. Also, it supports older Windows versions like 7 and 8.1, which is great. In tandem, BlueStacks is one of the best Android emulators for Windows 7. All in all, if you are looking for an overall best Android emulator for PC, then BlueStacks surely comes at the top.
Two, Google Play games on PC. In case you are unaware, Google has officially launched Google Play games for Windows 11 and 10. You can install games directly from the Play Store and start playing on your PC. As simple as that. Google has curated Android titles which are optimized and work better on Windows. Some of the popular Android games available on Windows are Clash of Clans, Free Fire Max, Angry Birds 2, Asphalt 9, Genshin Impact, and more. Sure, you can install other Android apps with Google Play games, but if you're looking for an Android emulator primarily for gaming, I would strongly recommend Google Play games. Earlier, we compared Google Play games and BlueStacks to find the performance difference, and turned out, Google Play games is much better optimized for PCs. It takes about 700 megabytes of RAM, while BlueStacks guzzles the memory. You also get smoother gaming performance with fewer stutters. Not to mention, since this is an official tool by Google, you don't have to worry about signing in a Google account on third-party emulators. 3. Gameloop, Tencent Gaming Buddy. Gameloop is another way you can experience high-quality Android gaming on Windows PCs. It's a dedicated gaming emulator developed for gamers who want to play a range of Android mobile games on desktop PCs. You may be surprised to find that Gameloop, earlier called Tencent Gaming Buddy, has been developed by Tencent as part of the desktop mobile gaming experiment. Initially, you could only use this platform to play PUBG Mobile on PC, but now Tencent has brought support for a huge list of Android games, which include Apex Legends Mobile, Among Us, Roblox, Call of Duty, and more. Additionally, you can get the Google Play Store by installing a separate module that is available inside the setup. Basically, with Gameloop, you are getting Play Store support and all the popular Android games with mouse and key mapping support. So to put it straight, if you are looking for the official Android emulator for playing PUBG and other games on Windows 11, then Gameloop is a much better proposition. Plus, it supports keyboard mapping in games like PUBG, which means you can easily use the touch-oriented UI with a keyboard and mouse. 4. Windows Subsystem for Android, WSA. Besides Google, Microsoft is also working to bring official support to Android apps on Windows 11. It has developed Windows Subsystem for Android, WSA, a compatibility layer that allows you to run Android apps on your Windows 11 PC. However, officially, it's supported via the Amazon App Store, and it's only available in a handful of countries currently. But you can still run WSA on your Windows 11 PC and sideload any Android app you want. You can even sideload Google Play Store on your Windows 11 PC and install Android apps right away. I have personally used Android apps on Windows 11 via the WSA layer, and the performance is quite good. It also allows you to remap the keys for supported games. WSA also consumes less memory than BlueStacks. So I would strongly recommend you try out WSA for all your Android emulation needs on Windows 11. And this the full installation guide for WSA and Windows System. Follow the video for zero error installation. Android emulator for Windows 11 that is optimized for gaming. Let me offer you the latest emulator in town, LDPlayer. Though it is relatively new, LDPlayer has quickly risen in popularity due to its great performance. The latest version, LDPlayer 9, is based on Android 9 Pie for running popular Android games like Genshin Impact, Blue Archive, Epic 7, and more. There is also a dedicated app store for games, and they run quite well on LDPlayer. If you want to improve performance, you can also take advantage of virtualization technology from the settings page. All in all, I would say LDPlayer is an up-to-date Android emulator that offers a simple yet powerful Android experience on Windows computers, be it gaming or just general usage. MEmu Play is another awesome Android emulator on Windows that has lately gained a lot of traction. It is a tough task to name a single or even a couple of features considering that MEmu comes loaded with a ton of useful features. One of the most prominent features of the emulator is the fact that it supports both Intel and AMD CPUs, which is great from a compatibility point of view. As astonishing as it may sound, it is a feature not available on many Android emulators out there. Apart from that, the emulator comes with the ability to run multiple instances of apps and Android versions at once. Furthermore, the software is based on Android Nougat 7.1.2 by default, but can also run Android 9.0. You also have the option to run Android KitKat 4.4 and Lollipop 5.1. While the emulator has some great optimizations for gaming, I think it's one of the best Android emulators for general users as well. You can run the emulator on any Windows version from Windows 7 to 10, and it's compatible with both Intel and AMD processors. What more can you ask for? If you're someone who's looking for an Android emulator on Windows that offers tons of features other than just gaming, well then, Nox Player is the perfect pick for you. We've previously reviewed the emulator and boy, does it come preloaded with a plethora of features. Gameplay optimizations, controller compatibility, the ability to change the Android device's build.prop, and a completely user-friendly interface are just some of the things where Nox Player outshines BlueStacks and other Android emulators on Windows. It is based on Android Pie, Android 9, and its multi-instance synchronization feature makes playing multiple games simultaneously an easy task. It's also one of the few Android emulators for Windows 11 that supports Android 12. There is one factor where Nox Player truly scores over BlueStacks, and it is the ability to get root access. If you have ever tried rooting BlueStacks, you'd know that it is a tedious task. But on Nox Player, you simply have to enable a toggle in the settings, and poof, you're rooted. That's how simple Nox Player is for you, and I believe it's among the best Android emulators on Windows. One of the major benefits of using Nox Player as compared to other Android emulators for Windows is that it is not entirely tailored for gamers. Even developers can use it for testing apps. That said, keep in mind, the emulator was embroiled in controversy for its move to install bloatware against users' choice. Besides that, in February 2021, Nox Player's Android server was hijacked by a hacker group, and it injected malware on user computers. PrimeOS is not an Android emulator per se, but an Android OS that can run flawlessly on Windows PCs, leveraging the real power of CPU and GPU. Basically, if you are into Android gaming, then this virtual device of sorts is a much better option than installing an emulator, as it will run directly on the hardware without the need for binary translation. What's more, you can use keyboard mapping to play your favorite Android games on PrimeOS. You can consider PrimeOS as an alternative to the Android x86 project. Not to mention, PrimeOS also brings Google Play Store support, so you can seamlessly install and play thousands of games. It also has a dedicated DecaPro gaming center that enables you to enhance your gaming experience on the PC setup. The best part is that you can also dual boot PrimeOS with Windows 11 with minimal effort. In a nutshell, I would say, to play intensive Android games, PrimeOS is the best platform for PCs. It supports Android 11 and 7 for PCs. So, this is my list that includes some of the best Android emulators you can use to run Android apps on your Windows 10 or 11 PC. Whether you're a developer looking to test apps or a casual user who's looking to play some games, you will certainly find the best emulator for your needs here. If you ask me personally, I would recommend Google Play Games on PC and Windows Subsystem for Android, WSA, as they're officially supported by Google and Microsoft. But with so many good alternatives around, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same for you. Which one of them is your favorite Android emulator for Windows? Chime in your 2 cents in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.